Hey everyone, welcome to Sunday's evening. I'm been out of town and I missed last weekend. I was in LA. Hello, Ann. I was in LA and now we're back this week. We did our LA channeling. Why is it so different? It looks lower. Why does it look lower? I don't know why. I guess it's just me. Anyways, yeah, we did the LA channeling, had a fantastic time. It was wonderful to meet all the people that showed up, meet them in person. We hung out afterwards. We had a great time. I got sick though. I think I got sick from the girl on the plane flying out there behind me. She had a cough, and then she was happy to not wear a mask and just cough all over the plane. And now we have putting out that kennel cough. So I'm sure some other people got sick because it was a pretty hefty cough. You can hear it. It's like, well, that's lovely. And I didn't have a mask to put on. I didn't think of bringing one. But I wore one on the way back because I was sick and I wouldn't want to do the same thing that I received and spread it out there. So we did have an idea thing called the COVID. Hey, Kevin. Hello, Brenda. And if you are sick, maybe don't spread it around. I mean, I know it's not as bad as COVID. It was a pretty bad flu, but just maybe some general courtesy as a human. It's a choice. You don't have to do it, but just I'll be partaking and not spreading the germs. I don't think we should do that anymore. It's like in America. I lived in a lot of different countries. In America, we're born in a culture of very hard work. We're very poor, and we're only 2 generations away from that. My parents grew up in dirt, and they were born during the Depression. They were born, maybe not the Depression, but during World War II, World War One, end of World War One. Let's see, my grandmother was World War. Yeah, that was two. My parents were World War II. My grandparents were World War One. Anyways, so that hard work, go to work no matter what, or the next person in line will take your job, is still in the psyche. And I go shopping and people are sick at work, and they go, well, I got to come into work, and don't stop. We can change the culture. Hey, Richard, welcome. Richard is in my class coming up on Tuesday. Awesome. Good to see you, Richard. So, yeah, if you maybe have a little courtesy and just stay home and get better. They do it in all the other countries, but for some reason, America, we think there's some kind of thing associated with if you get sick, it's a bad thing and you're not really committed to your job, which is just fucking insane. Anyways, I'm feeling much better, which is good. I may cough a little bit tonight. It was yesterday. Felt the best. I really felt good yesterday, and today felt good too. Still had a couple little coughs, but I'm better. Yes. All right. So we got some people in the room. There you go. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone out there. You can feel free to say hi in the chat. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. I do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. unless I'm, like last week, out of town. Something comes up. And just a quick announcement. We have my classes coming up on Tuesday. The new classes of Ascension classes are starting on this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. There is still space to sign up. And the advanced classes are the Wednesday classes, and that's a very large class with lots of people that have gone through these other classes. And definitely go through the Ascension classes. Would be highly recommended. They are great classes on understanding what we talk about here. What do we talk about here? What did Richard say? My boss lets me work from home even if I don't feel well. Good, very good. The channeling event was great, Richard. It was a great time. So, my work is to talk about relationships and evolution. It's all about the self because you're the only one who experiences your feelings. You must understand that no one else can feel your way. They can sympathize, empathize, or if they're experiential, they can relate, but they can't do it to the tune of you. So when other people react to your truth and they're upset that you're being a human your way, and then you might feel obligated in some way to not be human your way and change yourself to fit that dependency so you can get accepted, which is a total idea of externalism and dependency. So I would highly recommend these classes because that's what we teach. We teach you how to take the belief systems that you have, the bullshit that you run in your head you didn't even recognize, transcend them, and start to understand and speak a new language, vibration. It's always been said through the modern era of scientists, if you want to understand creation, you have to start thinking in terms of vibration, frequencies, and tones. And we are all vibrations. This is a light show translated in your brain. That's not a big surprise. We all get that. But those truths inside of you that you bought from humanity are the conductors of your life, and you demand and command those truths each and every day. And those truths create your reality, create your world, create the experience as you journey on human. And for those who are fast asleep, that's none of your business. Your business is you. If you're awake and you want to understand creation from this experience and add to the experience of humanity by going on beyond polarity, then I would consider looking at these classes highly. So awesome blossom. And as far as the channeling event, I did record it. We have a pretty good copy of it. It's not the best. It was taken on an iPhone, which is the video is incredible, but the sound had a microphone and it was pretty close. So the sound seems to be good all the way through. And we did a little bit of editing on it. So it's about an hour and a half channeling, and I'm going to release it, I think, probably tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'll put it up for all to enjoy and listen to what the Andromedans had to say. And I think that's about it for any announcements that we have. And let me talk about what we learned last week. We learned an idea, a concept, okay? In the advanced classes with Sylvester. Sylvester came in and channeled last week. And it was tough because I was still coughing and blowing my nose, so we had to pause every once in a while. But we got through it okay. And the class... love the class, love the teaching. So here's a concept for you. Remember, everything is a concept and it's a relationship. And some things that you get as concepts they don't fit. And when you get that rub against these ideas, most people throw it away because it doesn't fit their reality. And some people are intrigued by it. So what a master does, one that is enlightening itself, is understanding that it may not understand the concept, but it's still going to accept the concept as an understanding of probability. It doesn't need to be what you call coalesced. See, our teaching system here on the planet is you have to get it and you get tested on it, and then that's when you know it. And if you don't understand it, either you're an idiot or you're not good enough to take this, or it's not your best joy or whatever like that. You just don't get it. And some things are very difficult, like I don't like math. I understand math, but I'm not like math. Some people love math, but I get math if I take my time with it, but not at the speed of other people in consideration. It takes me a different way to learn mathematics as I did in school. So I wasn't good in school. After I got school, I found some different methods of understanding math. Now I understand math, but I still don't like it. So these concepts that we offer on this channel may not fit your vibration right now. But that's what you have to look at. You have to look at how you're considering this concept. If it doesn't fit right away, it would behoove you not to react. And that's the recognition part in yourself, that you have a belief system that reacts. If you look at what you are as a nature, you're a God. And so all that comes into your vibrational field of reality is understood. It is evolved, it is felt, it is experienced as the learning, as the evolution, and there's no reaction against it because you're not holding the polarized values of rejection, of not understanding, of failure, of criticism, of I don't get it, I'm dumb, or I don't get it, this material is worthless. Well, however you react to it, that's your own subjective universe. So as we all own our own universes, we know that. So I would consider these ideas that when you watch my channel, and there's 800 videos on there, lots and lots of information, just open yourself up to it, but not like I'm open like that. Just watch it and just let it marinate inside of you. And if it is not understood and it doesn't feel right, quite right, just accept the feeling of that, but don't fight against it. So Sly had talked about different places. Now we understand a third density, okay? So you have densities are different frequencies, like the layers of a cake. Let's just consider that. So like this is the third, and this is the fourth, and up here is where the Syrians hang out. They're in the fifth density, right? So you got these different frequencies, and their frequency ranges. Okay, that's how fast the light is being what they call contorted or bent. They bend light. So this is a very slow frequency range, and it creates the physical experience of physicality. Although we know it's not physical, it's just senses telling us it's physical, and there's sound and all that. We get that wonderful epic ideas. So we have third density, fourth density, fifth density, second density, 2D worlds, 3D worlds with time. That's our fourth dimension. We have a 3D world. We can move forward and back, and I can look up and down, and I can look left and right, and I can look three-dimensionally in my world, and I have another dimension. I added time to it. We're in a space-time continuum. So very exciting stuff, right? And you have fourth density, which is not space-time, but time-space. So that's a little bit different of a frequency. It's not a physical reality. It's a non-physical reality. The light ranges are very different. So he was talking about the here and the now. Now, you can think about this. And Eckhart Tolle wrote, the here and the now, the Now book, and all of these ideas. But it's very incredibly difficult not to pay attention to your mind that's telling you everything but now. Everyone knows 90% of all suffering happens in your head. It doesn't ever happen to you physically. Okay? It happens in your head. When you're fearful and suffering, it's an interpretation, right? And that's a relationship in our polarized world. We have good and bad, God and not God, kind of concepts here in our experience, right? So we have to consider that the here and the now is a place itself. Now, what happens now? Let's all look at this, okay? If you're totally now and totally here in the present moment, and I mean fully in the moment, with no engagement of you engaging your mind about tomorrow or yesterday. You're focused completely in the now. There's no thoughts on anything except what is moving through your reality. Totally focused on everything. You're no thinking, no paying attention. You have 1,000 thoughts. People ask me, Roxanne, how do I stop my thoughts? You don't. You can't. You're a creator of thought. Okay? We create original thought, and then we take that original thought in our memory and we reflect on it and play with it. And that's what we do. So those thought processes in your mind aren't going to go away, but you can change them. Now that's ascension. But what happens when you're in the now? The here and the now is always here. You can never leave here. There is no there. There is a concept that you create through your memory. What does over there look like? Have you been there? Then tell me what it's like. And then you build concepts through stories and memories. I've been to Paris. I remember Paris. It's over there. But I'm doing that from my here. And it doesn't matter if it's in my memory or in my future as a potential. The point is that I'm doing it all here. I never leave here. Now, wherever I go out my door, I'm still here. Where I was there. And there is through my memory. tomorrow and yesterday are my memory. But the now, today, here is always my present. That's where my reality is taking place. Hang on. I don't think I'm going to drink the tea. It might be tickling my throat. So I learned and practiced very diligently and through a lot of hard work to practice the skill of being now. And what it showed me is that when you are now, your entire world becomes very small. You don't remember, or you don't have the thoughts entertaining not here and the thoughts entertaining not now, because you've changed your thought patterns. You've changed them. I was taught about tomorrow. I was taught to fear tomorrow. I was taught to wonder about tomorrow. I was taught to be motivated about being better tomorrow, have a better life, a better self, improve myself. All of these things, my entire education system, I don't know what they do in teaching today, but I suspect it's the same. You go to school, you get taught things on instructional basis, and you have to learn the material and get tested on the material and get passed on the material to move on. And the material is, of course, a pinhead of information in comparison what's available, but it's the curriculum of whatever school district that you grow up in or whatever. So that's what the education system is, and that system teaches you about tomorrows. Okay. I remember a lot. Well, they're not going to put up with this when you get to middle school. You better get better when you get to high school, because in high school, in college, they don't even care. They won't even ask you because you're paying for it. They got their money. They don't give a shit you do the assignment or not. I was like, great. No one gives a shit about me. Okay, that's cool. And I understood that, and it taught me about money. It taught me how people don't care, and they care about money and their jobs and their reputation and their well-being, and that's not wrong. It's not wrong at all. That's humanity. Humanity sets the whole stage up in the idea of, if you don't go to work and get it done and you're not good at it, you're going to fail. And they show you that every day with the failures that are walking around the street. Although the failures on the street now, the panhandlers, are making a lot more money than people that are actually go to work. So that's kind of a cool shift, and see how that's playing out. But, none of this is criticism, guys. This is all observation, okay? So I had to look into myself and say, what the fuck am I doing in time? I'm scaring the fuck out of myself. But I'm sitting in my living room. I'm scared about tomorrow. I'm scared about next week. I'm scared about, am I going to have enough abundance? I'm scared about whatever the fuck I can be scared about. Whatever was in my head I can be scared about, I was being scared about. So I learned I can't be scared about those things. So through my Ascension work, working with my crew, Sylvester Osifius and whoever else came to the table, which there were plenty of them, I love them. They taught me about transcendence. They taught me to look at the belief and say, that's mine. That's mine. It sucks. I don't like it because it's making me feel this way. That's not making me feel this way because that's not here. That's over there. That's in my memory. That's in my mind. That's in my fear. So I learned I have to be in this vibrational state of now. So that took 5 years of just really, every time it would come up, learn to transcend it. And the habits were grueling. The thoughts were grueling. They were deep and they were very, very valuable. But they're my truths, nobody else's. And I, with the will of God, I'm God, I have will, am energizing these truths, creating my relationship, my interpretation, my experience. Welcome to me. I'm home. Okay, so guess what I got to do? I got to work on myself. So I start working on the here and the now. And I started seeing and recognizing the patterns. And I start transcending the patterns. And Sly came in and taught us about the here and the now is a dimension. It's what we call eternity. See, in the here and the now, there is no time. Time doesn't exist. Time is created. Time doesn't literally exist until you create it. What exists are the laws. That's how it is. I am. And since I am one and all, you are I am. And you're law one, I am. Law two is everything is here and now. It was a great law to put into place because it taught us that time is a created experience through memory, through validation. We are in a space-time continuum. We are going 70,000 miles through space. 70,000 kilometers, I think is what it is, through space, spinning around the sun. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. We're on a rock and we're living this life and we're worried about the politics, and that's just the most awesome thing you can experience. But we're tied up with our truths, and all these truths are valuable because that's humans' evolution. We got to look at the evolution. We can't start blaming and taking sides and all that shit. That just, it's a pissing contest and everyone just gets wet, So we're just moving through space, right? Here we go. LLM says Earth doesn't move. Good. Earth doesn't move. Whatever your truth is, it doesn't matter. But in the space-time continuum, through my truth, we're wrapping around the sun, flying through space. Awesome, right? Hang on. So I looked at these revelations and I didn't understand them and they were frustrating. But as I worked on them, they became clear. And enlightenment is a journey. It's an odyssey, epic voyage, odyssey of ascension. I say it all the time. This is a journey of self-discovery. It's not a pill. It's not one class and poof, it's all gone. I got it now. Hang on. That's better. So I realized that my relationship with truth creates my experience. And I don't have to have anyone else believe me. I don't want anyone else to believe anything. I want everyone to find their own knowings. See, a belief implies doubt. It's counter it. Someone can fight against it. And if you are a belief, if it is your belief, then you will defend it. See, a knowing doesn't need defending because it's just the truth of yours. So that means when anyone else has something that they don't believe that is your knowing, it doesn't fucking matter. Think about the fucking freedom in that you never have a reaction to anyone else's truth because now you are in the unconditional. And the unconditional here and now, that's a place. That's a dimension. And I'm learning about what that means to live there. And it's fantastic. Because there means there's nothing else going on anywhere ever. Except what's here and now. Do you understand? Nothing does happen until it enters your world and you focus on it. So just now, just for example, when I grew up, of course, I'm Generation X. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have internet. And we didn't know what was going on around the world until we watched the news. And of course, that's all the family ever watched was the 6 o'clock and the 10 o'clock, or at the time when I was growing up, there was 11. The 10 o'clock news didn't come till much later. But we had 11 o'clock news and then there was Carson, right? So in growing up in those ages, there was no other world. We didn't hear about things because it wasn't out there. It got reported, but if you didn't focus on it, then you were never in that world. You never brought that energy into the world because the focus. But now we have, media everywhere. We have their cell phones. We have all of these ways to get information, and then we can get ourselves bombarded with a whole bunch of information that is our world. And you focus on those things that are not in your world, right? And they're not in your world, then you create your world because you brought them into your world. You've given them acceptance by focus. And now you're energizing that reality potential as a truth and you have an experience. And that's your here and now, not right or wrong. Again, never, ever, ever. None of this shit is right or wrong. This is all what a master does, is observes its reality to find out how it fucking works from the subjective point of view of understanding, because you're not dumb. You don't need to be educated on this. You're a God, you forgot. And that God, hang on. I'm going to get a water. And that God, not using its human mind, its human, intelligent, thinking mind, can start to fathom these concepts through surrender and allowance, and like I call it marinating. And these concepts start to you get them, you get epiphanies when you leave it on, but when you employ this, you're employing what your life has been and what your memory can recall, and that's applicable to that. And then you divide the two, or you join the two, and if it's in conflict, you get frustrated. Right? You get frustrated. You get upset. You don't understand. I do. Maybe not you, but I did. So it's like, God damn it. So I stopped thinking and I just started accepting, surrendering, understanding. So when Sly came in and talked about the here and the now as a place, it's called the here and the now. That's the place it is. That's here. Where are you? See, wherever you move in your world, that's always your place. But there's also a relationship concept in the place that you are. So if you're in a restaurant, there's no thoughts about your about your home. There's no thoughts about your work tomorrow. There's you in the restaurant. So you bring and create that world. It's not what the decorations are. It's always the relationship. So the here and the now taught me that there's nothing outside of there unless I draw that thought in. And my thought processes were always giving me those potentials to think about tomorrow. See, I work out of the house, so I don't have 9 to 5. I haven't had a 9 to 5 since 2013, or I'm sorry, 2012. So I don't have that worried about tomorrow like I used to. 25 years in the car business, I never thought about the now. As always, what's the next down? What's the next sale? When's the next idea coming in? How many cars do we have out? How many salesmen? Where are they all doing? And just doing my whole freaking idea car life, right? So when I learned to not worry about tomorrow, which took some time, it made now look better. I finally understood what Osifius had told me a long time ago. The world you are in right now is so beautiful, so unconditional. It can only light you up because it is your perfect resonance. But I'm looking around and I didn't understand that. But I wasn't looking at my now. I was looking at my memory on all the things that I knew about. I didn't understand the now. But now that I learn the now, I understand the vibration, the life in every object. But you don't look at the objects as particular meanings. I don't look at my grandfather clock as to give me an emotion that says, oh, I feel good. I'm not looking for the outside to fill the inside. I'm not looking for another dependency, another idea of outside, again, making me feel a particular way. See, I start reading the vibration that is, it's my now, it's my world, it's my place. And all this harmonizes as the experience. So it's all part of this vibration of home. So I started learning that this last week after I'm studying, meditating on it, on Sly's class last week, on last Wednesday. So we learned that the now is a density. And beyond that, it's called eternity. We just considered it as an equivalent to a density so we can have a reference points of a place, like the third density, fourth density. So the here and the now is eternity. There's no time in there. There's no tomorrow there. There's no yesterday. It's just perfect. And as we learn to focus on the here and the now, pay attention to everything you do, allow your fleeting, enticing thoughts that are begging for attention to just pass through you, pass by you. Then you can start to learn this skill. And it is a skill. And I highly recommend doing it. I highly recommend trying for a while, and then maybe you get antsy. Maybe you get anxiety, nervous, uneasy. There's different ways you're going to experience it. But whenever you start to change your behavior, your ego is going to take notice. It's going to counter against it if it doesn't understand it. As soon as you get something you don't understand, it fights. As soon as you get something that goes against its truth, it fights. You get a reaction inside of you. That's the interpretation, and you feel that immediately. Why do you feel it? Because it's your truth. That condition, that interpretation, that's your truth, that's your experience. We create our own realities. You've heard Bashar say it, Abraham, Seth, Sean Swanson, Yeshua, and well, everybody. You create your own reality. But of course, that statement didn't hold water with me at the beginning. I didn't understand that. I was like, bullshit. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. But then I realized, hang on. I realized I was looking at the reality as a cause and a past and a future. I wasn't looking at it now without a truth bending that light, giving me the feeling. Make sense? So I did create my own reality, but I'm not creating the physical ideas. I'm creating the experience through my truth, my interpretation. One big thing that I learned is I would even say 99% of my belief systems live in time. They live in my mind. They don't live in the here and the now. They live in my memory. Right? So if you guys can fathom to work on your here and now, you can read the Eckhart Tolle book. You can look at here and now on my YouTube. I have a couple of videos on that. You can just put it up on YouTube in a regular search. You're going to find some ideas. But what it is observation. You have to observe your thoughts that are taking you away to not here and now. You have to get past the boredom or the unease about an accomplishment. We were taught in my generation, we were taught you have to become something. You have to be useful. They use that word quite a bit. You have to be useful. You have to earn someone's respect today by doing good deeds, good things. And it was very generational. I don't know what they teach nowadays. I'm not really sure. But if you're in the now and your mind is telling you to go out and do something that's entertaining, that gives you a good feeling, that gives you a sense of pride or accomplishment, don't. Don't feed the ego. That's what you need to observe and recognize that's what's leading you around every day. Although you might think it's your truth. Just stop for a while and just really reflect on it and see if that is your truth or is that humanity's truth. A God's truth and a humanity truth are completely different truths. You have unconditional truth inside you. That's what you need to find. Where are your truths? Not the ones you bought in from humans because you were born in this skin color in this country with this education system in place or this much money or this much poverty or whatever the fuck it is. Don't blame the circumstance. You're a master. You've woken up. Do the work. Okay? And just realize the idea of the here and the now is eternity. It's a dimension. Practice living there. And watch your mind go apeshit in the observation of those learn to transcend those. Okay? So I think that's, what time is it? There we go. Yeah, it's about half an hour, a little bit more. So I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. Again, I will put out the LA channeling tomorrow. Again, it's about an hour and a half long. The Andromedan spoke. Really cool channeling. And the Ascension classes start this Tuesday, May 7th at 7 p.m. Central. You can find it on the website. Click the link below. Right there are the classes. If you have any questions, you can email me. The email's on there too, how to get a hold of me if you have any questions about it. And oh, Michelle, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you so much. Give me a little like. Yay. Thanks, hon. And I think that's it, guys. So go out, be an observation of yourself. The truths that are yours, no one else's. Subjectify those, own those, observe them, learn to change them. Okay? Learn the here and the now, free yourself from time. Thanks, Michelle. I love you. All right, guys. Go get your stuff. Go be awesome. Go fall in love with you. We'll see you all next week if I don't see you in the class. Till then, everyone, take care. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.